honored to have a phenomenal man, a man who is just everything that he does. Like even his work, if you've watched his work, he's very excellent at what he does. And it's such an inspiration, and I'm sure that's why you've come, so that you can hear from him, and he can tell us the ropes of how he's made it this far, and some of the things that we don't get to see on social media or on the TV.
So who am I? My name is Eugene Mbugua. I'm 31 years old. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a few businesses, but the major ones are Number 7, which is a cocktail bar stroke club in the CBD, and I also run a TV production company called DNR Studios. And on this front, we've done a bunch of TV shows, starting with Young Rich back in 2013. We have Get in the Kitchen, we have Foods of Kenya on KTN, we have our Perfect Wedding on Maisha Magicist with the spin-off of our 5th anniversary. We have the South Soul reality show called Soul Family. We have the reality show with Wahoo and Nameless called This Love. We have a bunch of TV shows, there are many. So moving away from the shows, what I really want to talk about, and very briefly, I just want to take you through what my routine is, and that's what I want us to discuss, because that's what I think I wanted to talk to you guys today about. You will notice that I have breakfast at the exact same time, 8:15 a.m. every morning, and at lunch 1:15. I don't know why I have the 1:15 as opposed to just 8. It seems like I'm having a bit more control over things. Then usually over lunch I'll be watching a YouTube video. I watch random stuff. Sometimes it's Family Guy. Other times it's, you're trying to understand what's happening with Ukraine. Then afternoon again, work. And then around 5 p.m. usually I leave work around 5 to 6. And usually I'll have dinner or coffee with someone, hang out with a friend, or go home play with my dogs. And then in the evening, I'm in bed by 8:30 to 9 p.m. on weekdays, and repeat every single day. And I've been doing this since 2019 at the beginning. There's exceptions. On Friday mornings, I don't just work out, I also do golf in the morning for at least most Fridays. Then weekends, I have no routine whatsoever. I only put the PG stuff here. But I party and I have a good time on Fridays. But then I rarely ever work on the weekends. So then why the routine? How this came about was in 2017-18, I went through probably one of my biggest losses in business. I have this club Number 7, and I had set up one in Westlands, and it failed very badly, and I lost a lot of money very quickly. And so I ended up feeling very disillusioned. I was also, even prior to the failure, I was also living very unstructuredly. I'd go to work, because you're the boss. Sometimes you go in at 10, sometimes you go in at 6. It was very dependent on what the world was doing. So if you have a meeting at 7, you'll go in at 6. If you have a meeting at 11, you'll go in at 10. And I was just very, very unhappy. And so what I did is I took a break for a while. And I went away. I traveled for about 6 weeks. I went to Europe, the States, and just tried to find myself. And I realized part of the problem was I felt I was cheating myself. So I came back and I decided that, I was going to try something different, not necessarily better. I was going to try something different. If that doesn't work, then I'll try something else. So that's how I ended up picking up the routine, because I wanted to just dedicate myself to the work for a little bit and see if that will be a bit more rewarding. Because part of the reason I failed so much in that first phase is because I genuinely cheated. I went to work a few hours, then I traveled. I didn't pay enough attention to a bunch of things, and it came to bite me. So the thing about routines is that they don't require us to predict how we'll feel in the future, but instead asks us to determine how we act despite how we might feel. There's real strength in that. So for me, to be honest with you, for the most part, I don't think about my day. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be at what time, and a lot of the other stuff falls in place. So again, it helps me to eliminate unnecessary decision making, because I don't know if any of you goes to the gym. Do you know how that argument of lakini kuna traffic, or kunanyesha, or a meeting has come sijui where. So part of the reason, by the way, we have I picked the reason for having the reading and the working out in the morning is I read this from a bunch of people who are keen on it, and Obama, I think, has written quite extensively about it. Is if you really want to do something, you want to put it at a place before the world wakes up and comes at you. Because, for instance, I tried working out in the evening, and half the time I was missing it, because if there's traffic, you're out. If a tree has fallen on a Bugatti, I think it happened yesterday, again, the gym is out. If a meeting, how now with Zooms, everybody's booking meetings at 7:30 p.m. Again, your working out is out. So my routine allows me to just not have that debate with myself.
Hi, I'm Patricia. I totally love how you explained your routine. So for my question is, since you said you started your routine in 2019, I am also a very routine-oriented person, but what I found is that since COVID happened and we started the working from home, it became pretty hard for me to maintain my routine since I don't have to leave the house in the morning and trying to beat traffic and all those things. So how did you maintain your routine like through the pandemic? Because I think that's one of the things I'm struggling with right now, still working from home. Yeah.
I would actually say my routine saved my life during the pandemic. Because as any entrepreneur will tell you, that was a very uncertain time. So as soon as the first lockdown happened, we lost a lot of our contracts, like just because you see a lot of our shows are event-based. And I remember just at some point being very disoriented and I just stopped, Also, I think we all stopped. There was nowhere to go. You're at your house wondering if you're going to die. And I'm also a bit dramatic. I overreact to things. So I sat in the house for a while and I stopped doing the routine for a few weeks. I would say maybe a month and a half. And then one day I just realized, you know what? The only thing that has ever saved me in this world is not what happens outside, it's what I put in. So I said, I'm just going to go back to putting in my best. So I'm going to start waking up at 4 a.m. like I always used to. And I'm going to be putting in my hours. I don't care what the output is. And it was a very beautiful time because that's where Soul Family came from, the show itself, Soul, because it just so happened not to be traveling. And we just, I just decided as a company, we're going to continue doing what we're doing. So I started keeping my routine, but now this time it was different. Those of you who follow me on social media, you'll see that I started working out from home. So I converted a garage into a gym. And again, started doing my routine the same hours, reading and doing the same. And this is what basically allowed me to be able to keep my company going and bounce back. So during the pandemic, I doubled down on the routine.
My question is on people and culture. Being an employer side from entrepreneurship, and then also now jumping to the other side from managing people. You have your employees. There's one there who you're like, this guy can actually do way better than what I'm doing. How do I upskill you and then kick you out rather than hold you back into the company? Because as much as I want to be selfish in my company, feels like I'm holding you back. In that stage, how do you now, politely, hey, you know what, there's something in you, here's half a mic, go study, and I'm always here for mentorship and such kind of stuff. We appreciate top talent. One of the things that I really pride myself with is we've said in the next 3 to 4 years we want to be the highest payer in our category, so we can just retain and attract better and higher paying talent. And I've noticed the difference as we go higher, as the salaries increase, you're able to get better people. Like now we have a bunch of guys at our business who worked in agency. So there's a way they just look at business. But I'm not constantly looking at selecting people and sending them off. I want to retain them and hope that I can pay as much as they need.
Do you have also a routine when it comes to money? If you do, in the sense of saving. If you do, I would highly recommend that you note it somewhere in your slide, because at the end of the day, I have met a lot of young people who look up to the under 30 achievers, under 40 achievers, but you people don't mention it. They are the sacrifices when it comes to saving that you put into your jobs and into your lifestyle.
So Miriam, the reason I don't have finances there is because I wouldn't advise anybody to follow the financial approach I take. I'm a big believer, and again, I do not encourage anybody to view things this way when it comes to finances. I'm a big believer in that you can't pull yourself up by you can't go to your stairs by your shoelaces. So I'm not I tend to think, I don't think I'll ever get wealthy from saving. I'll get wealthy from earning more. So my focus usually is very heavily on earning more. With the money I earn right now, I have like a life insurance and all that stuff. And I do put money away for a rainy day. But for the most part, I just toss it again and put it back in my businesses. And because I'm just trying to build something bigger, you can never save to be a billionaire. And I'm trying to be a billionaire. So I'm really focused on just earning more. Again, I would say it's not logical advice. I wouldn't advise anybody follows it. So that's why I don't put it on there, because I don't think it's a viable advice to give anybody. But that's my approach. I'm trying to earn more, not necessarily save more.
It's actually quite interesting what you've shared about market falls and what they've been able to raise, $40 million.
Yeah.
For me, I'd like to hear more about what opportunities that you are trying to explore as you grow. Because I know for every entrepreneur or for every business, what you really look at is growth. You don't want to be at the same place you are 5 years from now.
Yeah.
What are some of the funding opportunities that you are currently exploring as you grow?
We want to be owners of the people who are able to basically create a distribution channel for the art we create, finance, and so move away from the actual production itself and become the owner of the unit that allows other production houses to do so. So then the dream for the company is we're going to have DNR studios at the top. Television is going to be one arm, film, because we're getting into film, is going to be another arm, music. We're about to put up a record label. We have some artists, that's why you see me with artists all the time. Then we have merchandising. I don't know if you saw the reports, we've invested in a beauty line with Betty Chalo. Hopefully that should be out in around May. Then we have experiences, that's the clubs and all that stuff. So then that's the bigger picture of what that conglomerate of sorts is going to look like. Assuming, of course, we're able to achieve it, because all those are dreams. That's a journey that we're hoping to do in the next 5 years or so. We're not necessarily pursuing, we took an investment about 2 years ago, so we're not necessarily looking to get any more money at this stage. We want to first stabilize, create, a lot of tech works backwards, where you can just never make a profit for so many years, so long as you have users coming in. Our industry is a bit different. We want to actually create a profitable system before we expand further, because art, the way it works currently, we haven't still cracked a system here that allows art to make money, and we want to be able to do that again through merchandise. It takes a lot of work, but we want to be able to be the ones to put that work in.
Great. Round of applause, please. That was really amazing. I think the thing that stood out for me the most is there's a quote that I really love. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But at the end of the day, you have to keep it moving. So even in those downtimes, you have to stand up and show up. Show up at that desk even when you feel like you have a creative block and there's nothing that's happening. So keep moving, and this is a testament that you can get there. As long as you believe in your dream and you wake up, you stop dreaming and wake up and get it done.